Today's episode of Polycarbonation features this box set from Chicago Transit Authority. This was done by the division of Warner Brothers Records that's called Rhino Records. So it's a reissue in replica sleeves, which was kind of done first in Japanese records. Labels used to like to do these. They're cardboard sleeves that look just like the original LP editions. Now you need a Blu-ray player to play these things back. They are the second, they're kind of a reissue of the original Chicago albums. Here we're looking at the first Chicago Transit Authority album. And they were originally done in stereo, but a few years later, when 4-channel sound became a thing, they were redone in quadraphonic sound to surround the listeners. We're taking a look at the original label here. This album was, they had to bounce it a bit because it was recorded on 4-track, or maybe a couple of 4-track machines to get the surround sound. But they duplicated the original label. There's Columbia Records label with the little Warner Brothers quadradisc symbol. Here's the original Columbia one. Now, they didn't use the quadradisc format. They used one called SQ that CBS developed in their own labs. It was a different system, and it didn't work terribly well because it was hard to get all those 4 channels balanced where you could hear them as a separate entity. They kind of blended together because it was just not that good of a system when it first came out. By the time they perfected it, 4-channel sound was kind of, it just did not sell well, so they retired it. So it's just too bad because I heard the later SQ system sounded really beautiful. Here's another one, gatefold sleeve, just like the original. It's cute in miniature, I think. And let's take a look. This is one of my favorites here, Chicago 7, which to me is the last album that Chicago, which was originally called Chicago Transit Authority, that was a really good one. And here's a photo of them hanging out at the infamous Caribou Ranch where their producer owned the studio, where a lot of drug abuse occurred there. But despite that, it was a very creative and musically valid album, and I'm a big fan of Chicago 7. Here they reproduced it. Was originally a 2-record set. You only need 1 CD, so they just printed up an empty sleeve to show, to historically match what happened when the LPs were issued. And this record also, this box set, Quadio, also includes the rather notorious Chicago album, the second one, which has a very compressed sound. Sounds like AM radio when you play it back. But interestingly, the 4-channel version of this sounds quite good. They mixed it differently, and it has a lot of dynamic energy and sounds beautiful to me. So compare that to more recent Elliot Shiner and Steve Wilson remixes. It comes across pretty good. So if you have a chance to pick up this set, I think it's quite worthwhile. It's cool to look at. It's a few years old, so a little more expensive if you want to pick it up, but you're welcome to just look at it. Here's a little bit of history here. Is a Radio Shack 4-channel receiver that would decode CD4 or SQ or QS formats, all 3 of them. Coming maybe not quite hot on the heels, but a couple of years later, after the Chicago set, Rhino released a 4-channel collection of albums by the Doobie Brothers, also called Quadio. Their 2nd through 5th LPs were transferred, or I should say their tapes were transferred to Blu-ray, and they're available in this box set, priced reasonably. They are Toulouse Street, the 2nd album, from 1972, Captain and Me from 73, What Were Once Vices Are Now Habits from 1974, and Stampede from 1975. Back in the days when the record companies wanted an artist to release a new album every year to keep up their profile and make their sales consistent. I'm a newcomer to the Doobies catalog, but I'm finding these discs pretty enjoyable, especially the Captain and Me. It has a couple of hits on it, plus album cuts that are very enjoyable, really cool arrangements, and it sounds great in 4-channel. That was the 3rd one they did, and number 2 in the set. So, as I record this, the Doobie Brothers Quadio is still available at a good price, so you might take a look out for that one. And that's the story of Quadio. You've been listening to Polycarbonation, the little YouTube feature for fans of CDs, other digital discs, even LPs. Heck, As long as the music sounds good, it is good. Thanks for watching.